Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box with the Technical Trader at TechTrader.com. It's Tuesday night, March the 29th, and it certainly was a turnaround Tuesday today. As the indices opened lower, moved up, and then comments from the Fed really spiked the indices up, and we had a very strong session and a beautiful day for many stocks we follow. As a matter of fact, the amount of stocks that I saw tonight that looking really good was double what I'm going to show you tonight. So it was a tough read for me to narrow it down. But I did want to go over it. Many of them are going to be some swing trades we've gone over that are looking really good. For example, BUFF, after breaking out of the trend, has been rising in a, let's call it a rising flag. And today it popped another 62 cents, 2.5%, but it's moving steadily higher. At this point, I am looking for the stock to make a run at the 27.29 zone. I think we're going to get that short term. But this is looking very powerful. And this have 11 days to cover to maybe some additional squeeze on the upside. Look at the OBV. Looking good. CBK. Well, I've been watching this over the last few months. Look at the base, the breakout, and now the three-wave corrective falling wedge. Well, today it popped on 572,000 shares, 9% plus, and may have broken out of that falling wedge, or actually did break out. The volume increased to, there's almost 6 days to cover. I'm looking at a retest of the highs very short term, maybe tomorrow, of about 290.95. We get through that, we're looking at a $4 stock. This could very well be a low price swing trade. FN has been looking awesome. Ever since this breakout, the pullback got right to support, filled the gap, and then exploded. So it's gone from 25 and change to 33 just in the last couple of weeks. And it's met my target here, 33.34. So short term, it may be extended, but I got to tell you, when you look at the long-term chart, this is now testing the 2011 high at 32.91. I was talking about that over the weekend, and it actually closed at 33, new all-time high. It may very well extend to the mid-30s. Hymix, one of our swing trades, doing great today. It exploded, moving up $1.72 or 17% on 13 million shares. Now that's the biggest volume on an update in a long, long time. Going all the way back to 2013. That's 3 years we haven't seen this kind of volume in HIMX. After the beautiful base was formed, it broke out and then backed off. We gave you a swing trade, and at this point, the first target I believe is met, but I'm looking for near 12 3/4, 13, and eventually 15 or more, maybe 15 and a half. JNUG, well, the gold's had a big spurt today. JNUG was up 1263 or 19%, and you can see the pattern holding the rising bottom line. I think we're going to take a shot at the recent highs up around 88, 89. At the same time, the NUGT, which I actually favor, was up 16.6% or 907. That traded 12.9 million shares, and that one may retest the 72, 75 range. Actually, 72, 74, 5 range, right? That would be my test, but I do think it has a possibility, if gold does what I think it can, of extending all the way up into the high 80s. LLAB, well, with the biotech appearing to maybe have put in a bottom, this one traded the biggest volume I've ever seen on it. 4.8 million shares is a new record volume for LLAB. And with the, after a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down, move up and retest a couple times, this may very well be the base that we're looking for to break it out. But the key is going to be, can this get over 34? That's a long way from here. Right now, the resistance is in this zone here. If you look at this high across here, these highs. Target is about 30, and then about 35. So this one could very well be terrific. Today, rebounding from under 22 to get up near 26. So looking for an extension as early as tomorrow. We'll see if we get it. MediciNova Biotech is moving back up. This one in particular, which having run from 2.5 to 7 after forming a wedge over the last several weeks, exploded yesterday. A little follow through today, but it looks to me like we're going to see 8.5, 9. Keep an eye on this one. It could be a swing. MRCY, certainly with earnings report, I believe, broke away 3 days ago. Yesterday had an inside day, and today broke out across the November, December highs, and maybe headed to 23, 22.5, 23 is my next target. 6 days to cover on this one. And swing trade NPTN continuing to act well, up another 48 cents at 3.6%, but making a new, let's see, 5-year highs. I think we're going to test at some point 2021 zone. That's my short-term target. First 17, 17.5, and then 21. OCLR, one of the better looking lower price trend lines, trend channels, 1.5 to 5 and change. And you can see it's at the top of the channel, but it could accelerate here. My target's going to be 7.5 if it does take off. 6.2 days to cover. Swing trade OCOL, well, it's finally setting up a nice coil, and today popped about 71 cents or 8%. Volume needs to pick up a little better, and there's a double top around the 10, 10, 12 range. If it gets through, it can really take off. Targeting 11 at 13.5. Swing trade ORBC continues to act excellently. If the run up to my target at the top of the channel, it's been wedging or coiling. Today, picking up volume, 820,000 is good volume for that stock, and it popped 6.67% or 60 cents. To me, it looks like we're going to reach near the $10 range as always tomorrow, very quickly. Rovi, nice snapback today, up $1.28 or 6.5%. You can see how it got just beneath support, just enough to take out some stop perhaps, snapped it right back now. Looking at the intermediate channel, I'm looking for a retest of 23.4, maybe as high as 27.8 intermediate wise. SUPN, nice snapback indeed, popping $1.35 or almost 10%, and it traded decent volume, 1.2 million nearly, broke out across the wedge and declining tops line. What I need to do is see this get to 16. Once it does that, a little bit of resistance at around 17, but through that I'm looking for 20.5 to 21.5, and I do think we may see that. 4 days to cover short on that. Swift continuing it to formulate its inverse head and shoulders type bottom with a right-handed extended V here. The wedge was broken out, got up to resistance at the declining tops line, retested, and spiked back up. Take a look where it is, because if we get through here, we're going to see 20.5 3/4 and then 24.5 3/4. Big day for Taser. I was looking at this pattern. I kept thinking to myself, break out of the long-term declining tops line, moving averages crossing over. The stock pulls back on a nice corrective falling wedge on low volume. Today the volume increase as it popped $1.21 or 6.6%. There's 6.5 days to cover. I'm looking for a test, and maybe quickly, of 20.5 3/4. We get through that, 24 and 26.5 are additional targets. TTWO is one of my top 25 stocks. You can see why. The wedge was broken today with a pop of $1.60. That's 4.5%. There's 8.5 days to cover. I'm expecting this stock to make it to 40 and then maybe 45. UGAZ, big volume today of 4.7 million as the stock breaks out of a mini base. Watch this one this week through 27. If it gets through there, 32, 34 type of target. Very interesting long-term pattern. We'll have to see whether it's able to take out the declining tops line and break the back of the down channel. Swing trade USAT, a beautiful little falling wedge. Today it reversed from 424 to 446. Not a lot, but it has the makings of a breakout and a move up to 5, my next target. VCL, well, after everyone gave up for dead yesterday as it reversed down, it came right back after holding support today and jumped 61 cents or 11.4%. Volume wasn't strong enough, but the OBV and the underlying technicals are looking better. I still think this makes it to 7, 7.25. Good day for Watt as it popped through triple top on big volume, backed off and closed over 11, up $1.33, almost 14%. It looks like this stock wants to make a run at this triple top up here around 12.5 3/4. That's my next target. Weight Watchers, we put a swing on it today as I felt that this flag was forming here on low volume with good OBV, indicated a potential move is coming, and it did pop through the declining tops line today, jumping 70 cents or 5%. Let's see if we get a follow through. My short-term target is around the 15.5, 16 zone, and we get through that, I'm looking for 18. Win, acting great in here after the huge run up and consolidation. It popped for 3 days and pulled back for a week. Maybe going again. Keep close tabs on the 98 range. We get through that, we can see the stock at 110, even 120. And lastly is US Steel, acting great in here with really nice consolidation support. Looks to me like 13 3/4 is your support. Your target's 18.5 and 21. That's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good evening.